Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Leah Javier Giesbrecht. And we're going to be discussing her wonderful memoir, The Courage to Wait, a memoir of God's goodness and faithfulness. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, man, it's a lot of other places. Type it into a search bar, sit back and be greeted with them all, and I'm going to tell you why you need to do that in just a moment. And before I go any further, I want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that she was brought to us by Citi of Books. So for my writers out there listening in who have gone through their process and now you need some assistance moving that book you just worked so tirelessly to create, head on over to cityofbooks.com and gather all of the ways that their fantastic team is more than equipped to help you do just that. And listen, people, we've all heard the advice to just be patient, right? Yeah. We've heard it. I've heard it. Everybody's heard it. We've all wanted to throw something at the person who said it. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit it. But of course, we don't, right? Well, listen, Leah has written her memoir about waiting. But she didn't write it from a mountaintop of perfect serenity. She wrote it from the messy middle of immigration lines, cross-cultural arguments, and moments where walking away felt like the only sane option. Trust me when I tell you, this memoir, The Courage to Wait, it refuses to sugarcoat the cost of trusting a timeline that you can't see. So if you're tired of hearing that God's timing is perfect while your life feels completely stuck, this conversation is the permission slip you've been needing to exhale. Sit back, strap in, and let's get ready. Leah, first and foremost, welcome to the network, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me in your show.
Leah, listen, it is a pleasure. Like, joking aside, I think what you've done here is magnificent, and it's so raw, it's so transparent, and I think that's what I love about it the most, right? Because listen, I'll be the first to admit it. Like, I get the whole essence of faith, right? And believing in what you can't see. But man, sometimes we get impatient, okay? And waiting, just like your title says, like the courage to wait is spot on. Because sometimes it takes that courage to sit there and to hold out. So we're looking forward to the discussion. Let's jump right in. This is a memoir, so we're going to learn about yourself in addition to this story. So let's jump right into the book, The Courage to Wait. Tell us more about it.
Well, The Courage to Wait is prompted to me. I just felt like I need to tell the story about how, as a young child, all my dreams be fulfilled, and I did. So, and I did a lot of talking to God and say, where is this person, or what might my life be? And always say, wait. So, but waiting is difficult, but I pursued it. So,
well, listen, so we know a little bit more now about your memoir. We'll go a little bit more into depth in a bit, but let's cover inspiration now, right? Like, this, a beautiful story and something we're so glad that you put the pen to the page and now shared it with us. But we know you didn't have to, right? So what was that moment, that final switch for you that said this was so important it couldn't just remain in your mind or amongst your personal circle? It had to be in a book to be put out for the public.
Yes. What happened really is that after I achieved what my dream was, I felt like it needs to be brought out, or people need to know how God really helped me get what I've been wishing from the start.
Yeah.
In the struggles that I had been in, especially I really wanted everyone, like especially young people who is so not, they are not patient enough, or what their life be. Then I said this need to be heard by and read by and heard by young people to inspire them to just wait. The best is yet to come. So those are the main thing that prompted me to really write instead of keeping it to myself or to with my family.
Yeah.
So it's a legacy that I want authors to leave.
Well, Leah, listen, I think it's really interesting. I love the title. And as someone that, I never put it's kind of one of those things. Like, I feel like the older you get, the less likely you are to kind of, articulate your age. But we say here on our network, we talk about being seasoned. All right, Leah, that's what we're going to talk about here. And as I've gotten older and I've gotten more patient, I recognize that, again, it's never so black and white, but waiting does require courage, right? It does require patience. And there's a lot that comes along with that. But I do think that oftentimes, right, like waiting feels less like courage and sometimes feels like cowardice, right? There's the common saying is, paralysis through analysis, right? People waiting and analyzing certain things and they just get stuck, or waiting out of just plain fear. So this is something that we're aware of, we know happens. And again, I've come to appreciate now that waiting requires that courage. But I want to hear it from you.
Waiting requires, waiting requires courage. And waiting, the fact is that not just courage, you need courage because waiting also would follow fear. And sometimes we tend to deal with fear than courage. Even though you have a little courage, but you need to have more courage because waiting requires more than courage, actually,
Yeah.
And because you'll be bombarded with a lot of fear, a lot of discouragement, a lot of your own problem on your own mind, your enemy is yourself, the doubts and everything. But that's why you have to have the courage to wait with God's faith, with God's help. So you cannot have courage without faith in God. 100% faith.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listen.
So that helped me. Yeah.
Love that. And a great piece of advice there. And I'm going to continue to go along those lines and offer more wisdom here for really anybody that's out there that's ever been in a relationship or is in a relationship right now and is experiencing this. Like you admit in your book that you admit to arguing, right? And nearly walking away. And who amongst us has been in a relationship where that hasn't happened, right? Like relationships get tested all of the time. And you're constantly at that fork in the road where, well, I guess not constantly, but you're at that fork in the road from time to time where you have that tough decision. Do we continue to invest or do we walk away? Now, I want to go into this next. Like, can you tell us about a specific fight where the silence was so loud that you realized the next word was either going to be goodbye or I'm sorry. And once you realized that particular moment, why did you choose I'm sorry instead of goodbye?
Oh, there's a lot. From the very beginning, from finding a husband or finding just a relationship to even when I met him, and then the trouble of to continue, and then followed by after the marriage, coming to the U.S., immigration follows, and all these things. So it's like, we just go, drop it, throw in the towel a lot of times. However, God said, no, I have a plan for you. Plan to prosper you and not to harm you. Plan to give you hope in the future. Jeremiah 29:11. So that's the verse that kept me going when I felt like everything, it's easier to just throw in the towel. But I pursued it. Yeah. I followed God. So.
People, listen, I'm telling you, the wisdom is there in spades. You got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Purchase your copies of The Courage to Wait, a memoir of God's goodness and faithfulness. It's one that you're not going to be able to put down, but it's one that's also going to be a mirror to your life and your circumstances through and through. And I really do mean that, man. Like, you might not have the very specific circumstances that she is talking about within the book, but there's so much relatability here from a fundamental positioning. When you read in between the lines, you're going to see yourself. You're going to see your relationship in these words. And I think that, A, is a mark of a great writer, but B, really hints towards the power that this book provides. So head on over there. Make sure you purchase your copies today. And, Leah, my next question is interesting. When we talk to authors on our network that have written memoirs, memoirs are funny, right? Because first and foremost, listen, from an audience perspective, from a reader's perspective, there's a lot of wisdom that we're able to gain, because we understand that wisdom is derived through experience. It doesn't always have to be our experience, though, right? So we're able now to use your words to then help our path maybe be a little less turbulent. So that's great and very beneficial. But from a writing perspective, man, you're almost walking down memory lane again and reliving a lot of these circumstances while you're writing. Talk to us about that writing process. How did you go about deciding which elements of your path you decided to share and which ones you kept off?
I would start with to be honest, I am a very spontaneous person, and I'll just say what I want, or I want to do what I want to do. And then with these things, it started actually when we got our citizenship, U.S. citizenship, and I thought it would be cool just to write everything down, and then so that I will not forget how God brought us to where we were. That was in 2010, and the writing process, actually, I just wrote it just like a diary. I always like to write a diary of my day, and I always address my diary or my dailies, I address it to God. So, and I really have nobody but myself. And in the end, my one of my best friend really just read to my manuscript, quote unquote, and because I am not an English speaker, and I'm a native of Philippines, and so English is not my first language. Yeah. So to write this, I felt like it's really cool, Yeah.
It's interesting. You were just talking about yourself and how you are, and it's a perfect segue here for my next question, because Walter is a farmer, right? I mean, he's someone who lives by seasons that he can't control and goes along with that just innately because that's what's required. And you strike me as someone that has a fire that wants to move faster, right? Like wants to make something happen and just get it going. And I think it's interesting, like from a relationship standpoint, like opposites attract. And I do think that there's a yin and the yang there where you both kind of can assist and help each other, but also can maybe butt heads from time to time. So as a way of offering advice to a younger Leah, but also offering advice here for readers when they'll interpret your words, if you could give one piece of advice to a younger Leah in the relationship, the one that's wanting to always make things happen, what would that piece of advice, what would that message be to the younger Leah?
The younger Leah I would advise to be more understanding, and reach out for people more, or ask for help. Yeah. And continue to be, the younger Leah is already strong in her faith, but more.
Right.
So.
Love that. Well, listen, my final question here for you. We're gonna close out again with offering some more wisdom potentially. What are you hoping your readers take from the book? I mean, I know you started to go into this a little bit at the beginning of the interview, but let's close out. Let's really hone it in. When your readers pick up the book, they read through it, they close that final page. What do you want them walking away with?
I want them to walk. It's not about me, but I want them to grasp the goodness and faithfulness of God, no matter what your circumstances is. Now, no matter how impossible things are, if it's God's will, it will. So, and that's my drive in writing this book. In fact, I just want everyone to know, even though life is hard, but God knows better, and that everything still be okay according to His will. The best is yet to come. That's what I want for the readers to know.
What a beautiful message to close out on. Thank you for that. And also, just throughout this entire discussion, throughout this book, thank you for reminding us that the courage to wait is really just the courage to show up for Tuesday when you'd rather skip all the way to Saturday, right? To really stay there in the moment, because that's so difficult to do, and it becomes increasingly tougher in a world that sells us speed and shortcuts through social media, through all of these different applications. Like, we want things, we get them instantly now. We don't like to wait anymore. Mm-hmm. And your story is a quiet, stubborn act of rebellion. For everyone that's listening in right now who finds themselves just, man, they're gripping onto things, so they're white knuckling their way through a delay that they don't understand. This is such a wonderful book to add to your shelf, because it's going to show you so much, and it might just help give you that extra piece of courage to wait in a season of impatience that you may be going through. So I'm going to say it again. It's Amazon. It's Barnes & Noble. The book is entitled The Courage to Wait, a memoir of God's goodness and faithfulness. Head on over there. Purchase your copies today. And while you're at it, man, purchase a copy for somebody else, right? Get it as a gift, because I think we need to spread the word. Have conversations. Let's get it moving. This is a fantastic book. Leah, keep up the wonderful work. And once again, thank you for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you very much.